live from YMSL Studios. Welcome to the Dougless Report. I'm your host, Bobby Moravia, and NRJ to my left as usual. And technically, I guess we could call this week 2.5 review.
Right.
And Norman, one thing we've noticed so far in the early part of this campaign is that premiums and runs scored is going to be very, very difficult in the YMSL this year. A lot of struggling franchises.
Well, definitely in Cleveland, we're having trouble scoring runs. That's not a secret. We actually played 6 games. We're one of the teams that played 6 times. And we're scoring 2 to 3 runs a game right now. It'll change for sure. I'm very confident of that. Maybe it's the weather, maybe the layoff. I don't know what it is,
Right.
but it's right now we're just not connecting. But apparently we're not the only ones, because when you look at some of the scores in the other games, they all seem like 4-1 games. I don't know what's going on, to tell you the truth.
Well, also, besides that, the odds are if you're watching this broadcast tonight, your name's probably been mentioned in a trade.
Yes, that's another thing. There's been trade rumors.
The whole league is up for a trade.
Well, when half the league is you know, you have an 0-4 team, 2 1-3 teams, a 2-4 team. You have a lot of teams right now that, you know, on paper their records don't look good, so they're looking to make a move. And then there's even teams that are up above.
Ironically, the 5-1 team, the Rockies, have been very active in trade talks.
Yeah, but as far as I know, it's all talk so far.
Yeah,
I haven't seen a trade yet.
Very interesting week. Like we mentioned your team. We didn't get a chance to. Last week we played an abbreviated schedule, and your team played an unbelievable pitching duel against the Astros with Jackie Eshko. Two technically 3 games.
Yes.
And you guys, amazingly enough, scored 1 run in 20 innings.
Unbelievable. We lost 3-1.
And it wasn't exactly a Nathan Batesh you were going up against.
No, we lost 3-1 in game 1, and then a 0-0 ball game that was already shown on YMSL Classic TV, already in its entirety with play-by-play. You did a good job calling that game, by the way.
Thank you.
0-0 into 13 innings, I believe it was.
Yes.
And then they scored 2 runs in the top of the 13th to win the game 2-0. Ridiculous amount of runners in scoring position that we just could not get home. And them also. They had the very speedy Michael Saban on third base with 1 out. They couldn't get him home. And we had Lee Zakaria on third base with 1 out, and we couldn't get him home. Double plays, high pops, just hard to explain and very, very hard to accept that loss and go into a full week of knowing that we got swept when we could have and should have split.
100%. You could have easily won one of those games. And so let's talk a little about your team. Going into the season, I was very impressed with your team. We all do the same thing. It was going to be a lot of defense, pitching. Really, if you look at your lineup, you have a lot of spray hitters, single hitters. Really, nobody that's going to, no alleys, no Saban, no Malak, nobody that's going to break a game open. But you do have a lot of gap hitters. But at least probably the biggest power threat in your lineup. So where do you go from here as far as trying to upgrade the offense?
You know what? I've spoken to every person on my team throughout the weeks, and especially this week, and it's the same story. I mean, we're not going to have a fire sale. We're going to go in with what we believe to be was a winning formula in the beginning of the season, and everybody just needs to step up a little bit.
Yeah.
Lee had a very, very strong week this past week, but weeks 1 and 2, he wasn't himself. He wasn't great. Eddie Rishti has been very good, but not phenomenal. Carlos hasn't gotten into it yet. Mikey, not into it yet on the hitting side. Just our main, even Robert Braha, not really hitting like he can yet. And Murray Zolta is hitting into the worst luck I've ever seen in my entire life. He whacks every ball, hits it as hard as he can, and they're going line drives, and people are making crazy catches. So I think the people we have in the clubhouse, I think it's the right group. I really do. We're going to stick with it, and we're just going to hope that people start to step up. Maybe we get lucky, maybe a bounce, maybe a bloop, maybe this or that, and then that's all it takes till you take off. That's
certainly the pitching and the defense has been there. So
Mikey pitching has been phenomenal. Sunday he was on target. hitting my target everywhere I wanted the ball. He was hitting it. He's very, very focused. He's stronger than ever, but there's so much pressure because we're not scoring for him. You can't pitch like that consistently. It's impossible to tell him that if you give up 2 runs, the game's going to be over. So I think maybe, I think we can wake up, and I think we're all going to wake up at the same time. I mean, that's what I hope for.
Yeah, you got definitely now you're at 2-4.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's still very early in the season, but you really don't want to go too many games under 500.
Right.
And again, I guess you're going to keep your ears open, and unless somebody blows you away with an offer.
Ears are always open. Nobody is ever untouchable when you're 2-4, obviously. But realistically, the team is probably going to stay very, very similar to what it is. Because I believe in the guys that I drafted. I really do. And so does Carlos. And this is who we picked. And, this is who we're going to go to war with.
You're going to probably be involved in a lot of 4-2, 5-3 games. And, so I'm sure.
4-2 we wish. We're involved in 2-0 games.
2-0, 13.
0-0 games. 4-2 is maybe when we play in Denver or something.
But ironically, the weather has been very Cleveland-like the first 3 weeks.
Yes, the mistake by the lake.
Yes,
the weather
a lot
is
of
wild.
blistery cold winds, and so it's really played to your advantage. You just really haven't been able to capitalize.
That's
on
exactly right. We haven't been able to capitalize. This upcoming week, we're facing a really good team, the Jeffrey Saka Alley team, and maybe it'll help us to face a faster pitcher, and maybe it'll wake us up. I mean, it's now or never for my team. We got to get going. We're only 2-4. It's not like we're 2-8.
Right.
The sports talk radio on YMSL AM is people are jumping off bridges, and I just hope everybody relaxes, calms down. We're only 2-4. And we got to go from there.
Well, it's not like you're getting blown out, and you're 2-4 with a couple of breaks. You could have been 4-2, whatever.
Yes, definitely.
So let's start speaking about Jeffrey Saka's Brooklyn Dodger team. We're going to start off with that, the feature game at Memorial One.
Okay.
And we might add, let's tip our hat to the grounds crew to get the fields ready for this Sunday, this past Sunday, because as you know, we had a tremendous.
That was a flood that we had. What was that?
4 inches of water, and it was unbelievable. And a lot of leagues didn't play last week, so they definitely got the field in playing condition. So you had Jeffrey Saka's Brooklyn Dodgers, Jack Jamal, actually coming in at 1-1 against Joe Cheer's Untouchables, 2-0.
Right.
And Joe Cheer was not available this week. He was traveling, and they were playing without rookie David Cassidy, who was serving his 1-game suspension.
He was dying to serve the suspension for around 30 days, but he couldn't serve it.
Yeah.
Passover, the rain out, so all sorts of issues. But finally,
he
got
was
to serve
actually
it.
willing to sit out 4 games in the 2 Sundays we didn't play. He was,
Right.
We didn't go for that one, but it was a nice try.
But he tried. Okay, good.
He tried. So they were a little short-handed. Jack Abadi went back to center field. Mark Braha played third, and who was the shortstop this week? Who's the shortstop?
They told me who the shortstop was. Oh, Jaime. Jaime
played great shortstop, by the way. Yeah, very good.
So they were out of position, but everyone.
Not really, because I mean, Jack Abadi's a natural center fielder.
Right.
Mark Braha is a great fielding third baseman, and Jaime, I'll tell you, is a major resurrection in the last 2 years.
Yes.
He's definitely, playing Marshama type.
His stint in Pittsburgh actually helped him. He didn't want to play on that team. He got to the World Series, and he had a great year last year, and it seems like he's having another great year.
Defensively and offensively, putting up big numbers, and so he played great. So that team really is, very strong. With
they had to also
Leo
move
Casson.
A.B. Dweck from right field to left field because Casson was serving the suspension, like you said.
They had a little out of position. Adam Marshall, I believe, was playing right field.
Yes, Adam Sifu Marshall. Yes, sir.
So they were, they were short-handed. Saka coming in at 1-1, and he was definitely humming. And really their lineup, Malak and Ali, and they have a pretty solid 3, 4, 5.
Well, what are you supposed to do? They're in a situation, it's second and third, and Ali is up, and then Malak is up after Ali.
Yeah.
So they walked Ali, and sure enough, Malak, it's basically a grand slam. I think he stopped at third, but it could have been a grand slam or something like that. I mean,
yeah,
you can't not walk Ali if it's second and third. It's not like they walked him first and second.
Yeah.
And then, but Jimmy made them pay. And then he's screaming around the bases, you walk to get to me. I don't know. Like, I don't know what I would do in that situation, but it seems like a no-win situation.
Well, listen, at that point, you have to walk Ali. I mean, just for the percentage purposes, you know, you really have to.
Just for the force, even. I mean, but it's that lineup. If they could get men on in front of Ali and Jimmy, I mean, it's very, very
actually
tough
to
battle.
say they were also shorthanded themselves. Elliot Mann was out sick this week, and Elliot Batesh, playing with a broken thumb, has been out since opening day. So both teams were shorthanded.
I heard in this game, I don't know if the camera crew caught it, but I heard Jack Abadi made a ridiculous
I heard about that
catch in center field. And many on his team hoping that he stays in center field over Joe Chira, but obviously there's no room for the two of them there.
Well, I know. Now that they have who plays left field on that team?
Casson, DK.
DK, so you can put Joe Chira and who's there, and if they move, A.B. Dweck you have on the team also.
Right.
Wow, they could really. I'll tell you that.
You're saying what, to leave Jaime at
put Joe Chira in left and put or Joe Chira in center, whatever. I mean, your outfield would be absolutely ridiculous.
Right.
You know, so it really it's kind of hard to judge this team. They were shorthanded this week, so
also they didn't play in like 3 weeks. Yeah. The weather was a little rough on that field. I heard it was very windy. And they had the guy suspended and Joe Chira not there. Yeah. If I'm that team getting swept to Jeffrey Saka and the Brooklyn Dodgers, I'm not feeling so down based on the circumstances. You take the sweep, you move on. Maybe it's a wake-up call a little bit, maybe not, and you move on with your season. You scratch that team off your schedule, and you go on. I doesn't sound like they're too concerned, and I wouldn't be.
But it's also the truth is I was not. I don't think either one of us was really too high on that team before the year started. But now that I get to watch them up close in my box at the Memorial, it was, they're a very, very strong team. A lot of young talent and great athletes. So. You know, I guess the big question mark of that team is Leo.
That's what it is. It always comes back to Leo. Leo was on what I thought was the best team in the league last year. Yeah. That all-in team I thought was what a roster they had, and he couldn't get it done. So we said it in the beginning of the year. It's a huge, huge year for Leo. He has a great team again. We weren't so up on them because I didn't really know them that much. They had a lot of guys from Brooklyn and everything, but now that you see what they can do, Leo has a chance to really go far, and this is his opportunity because, you know, it's he's really got to make a run deep into the playoffs now.
But ironically, there's certain things that I was just happened to be there. It was second and third, one out, and there was a one hopper back to Leo, and he threw it home. Yeah. He thought it was a force out, and Chucky screamed. Not only did he throw it home, he threw it with Chucky's head.
Right.
So you know, run scored, and you know, sometimes you just wonder where he's at mentally. But so he's the big question mark. Can he really take a team to that next level? We've always said that, you know, about certain pitchers. Are they mentally tough? And you say it until they do it. Yeah. You know, until they prove they can do it, because so many pitchers have come in this league and not been able to get it done. You know, so. Now he's not a rookie anymore. He's not a second year. He's in the league a few years already. He's got to make a move already, and he's on good teams every year. He's got to go deep into the playoffs. Right. So you know, definitely, you know, he's the big question. But that team is very, very strong. Mark Braha, extremely impressive. Third base or second, whatever. He's a very strong hitter. And I think once they're healthy, and if Jaime keeps playing the way he is, they're going to be a tough team to beat. So Brooklyn Dodgers improved to 3-1, and then that drops the Untouchables to 2-2. They swept, and then they got swept. Yeah. Okay, so they're down to 2-2, and they move on from here. Yeah. So now the next game, we'll get to. When do we get to the Rockies? At the Red Hot Rockies. The Red Hot Rockies, 5-1 to start the year. Now, they were over at Meadowbrook, and this team, a lot of people agree, is a very, very strong team. We're all pretty high on them coming into the season. And with Ralph Hannon, as their pitcher and a great bat.
Yeah.
And they have some lineup. I'll tell you, they are really solid at every position.
He did a great job drafting the team, Sammy Towell, to go with his 4 World Championships and 26 Gold Gloves and everything. But all kidding aside, he did a phenomenal job drafting this team with Jordy and JT, and then getting Hannon to pitch and put him in that lineup. It's really, really great. But who would think that one of their best hitters was Albert Levy putting up
well, I'll tell you, Albert Levy, ironically, had a great year last year.
Yeah.
On a bad. What team was he on last year? Was he on I don't even know if he made the playoffs, but he had a very good year. Moving him to the infield, but just a lot of guys on that team are all producing. He stole JT in the second round.
Right.
People were scared about him missing weeks and stuff. But now, if they're going to be, they could be so far ahead that when he misses those weeks, it might not matter so much. Who else is on that team?
Leo Pachotto, Jordy. They have a very, very, very strong team.
Louis Franco. They have their team is solid all around.
And the Cardinals, I know Maxi Deed pitched well against a potent lineup and got a little frustrated.
Yeah, we spoke to Eddie Michon. And he was down on his defense. They said they let him down. Eliezer did not play good. I don't think he had a hit either. One for maybe 0 for 7, 1 for 7. Who else?
And that's Eliezer's first game, right?
Yeah.
Because they didn't play last week, and he missed the week against us.
Eliezer's debut, and just his defense let him down, outfield and infield. So
and Maxi Deed was frustrated also from what the post-game reporters were telling me as well. That he pitched well enough to win, and they actually took a lead 4-3 in one of the games, and then the Rockies scored 3 in the bottom of the 6th.
Yeah, he was upset also.
Ball flying all over.
Said he had to leave the city early, 5:30 in the morning.
Levy was on Hustle.
Oh, he was? Did they make the playoffs last year? Who's Hustle?
Hustle did not make the playoffs. That was Mavora last year.
Oh, yeah, so he had a good year last year. So anyway, that team is 5-1, and really, I don't think doesn't look like they're going to slow down at all.
Well, you know what? JT is missing 2 to 3 weeks.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's 2 or 3. They're building themselves a cushion.
If they're 9-1, he might make it 4 weeks.
Exactly. I mean, that's what you want to do when you're missing your best guy on your team. You're 5-1. He could go. You just try to get split along the way, and you're fine. Then he comes back, and you're at full strength for the playoffs. With the way the standings are this year, 5-1, it's so early. It's basically like he's already clinching a bye almost because everyone is struggling. It seems like, except the Rockies, 5-1.
Well, yeah, but now we'll talk about the Rockies. So Eddie Michon's team, I also think one of the better teams in the league if they ever get it all together. Also, we got to say Max Yadid's got to elevate his game to be elite status. I mean, he's already. He's a good pitcher, but he's got to be a great pitcher.
So you're putting your foot down. You're putting an ultimatum on Maxi Deed this year. It sounds like.
Listen, he's a very good pitcher, but he's got to be a great pitcher. I mean, he's got the stuff and the talent to do that. He's got to be able to carry a team far. I mean, he's always been able to get his team to the playoffs. But I think also a lot is on Eliezer's shoulders. He's got to prove himself to be an elite first-round player. I
got to tell you, they have good. Bottom of the lineup players on the Cardinals. When we faced them, they had a longer lineup than I thought. So if these main guys start to step up, I think they have a team that can go somewhere. These Sam Shrem, I didn't know him before I played him. He hit well. They have a first baseman, Isaac Dweck.
Yeah, Isaac Dweck, Mino Dweck, who I understand struggled mightily on the other day.
He struggled, but Sammy Towell, in between games, was actually giving him a few pointers on how to field the position of first base.
Well, listen, you're getting from a first ballot Hall of Famer, 25 or 26-time Gold Gloves. You got to take it with
At least he's willing to take the advice and wanting to learn and try to get better. At least, so that's good.
He actually called it Mr. Towel, which which I don't think Sam took too kindly, but. Yeah, he's got a lot of talent, but that team. Louis Batash playing very well. So
so these guys, all these role players can contribute a little bit. I mean, which I think they sort of are for the most part. Lewis and Shrem and all these guys. If Eliezer could step up and play his game, and Maxi Deed, like you said, can elevate on the mound,
Yeah.
then maybe they can do something. But
And
they
Eddie
need their
Bichon not
stars.
hitting yet like he did last year. He was hitting like ridiculous last year. You know, I don't know if he's going to be able to duplicate that, but he's a little slow off the gate this year so far after 4 games. But I still think they're one of the better teams in the league, so I'm not too worried about them. Now let's shoot over to.
Where are we going?
Do we do your
Houston?
game yet? Do we do?
Are we doing my game? You want to?
We touched on your game a little bit. Well, what do we do?
My
So-
game. Well, we played against Helter Skelter on
We
the
played
Memorial
against Helter
3.
Skelter. With the big question was Hammer and Hank going to play, suffering a shoulder injury during the holiday,
Right.
and I guess he was at what 50% or
Yeah, he was definitely not himself.
well, he did not play shortstop. Max did.
Max played shortstop. The key to their game was they put Max at shortstop and David Risty at third base. So the way I looked at it was, okay, Max has been a shortstop and Risty has been a third baseman, but this is not their main position right now. Maybe they're too out of position. We could take advantage. Max Sutton made every single play.
Had a couple of spectacular catches. by
I
the
was
way.
just going to say that the routine plays and then jumping and leaping and line drives, making every single play imaginable. And Risty wasn't tested as much at third base, but he made every play he had to make.
I haven't seen Risty play third in a while. When was the use?
Last year he played first, but over the years I've seen him play short center.
Yeah, but I know he had arm or shoulder problems and the throwing from the outfield, so he moved into the infield. I don't know, could he throw from third?
Yeah, he was making the throws. He was making every throw.
So Hammer and Hank played second, right?
Hammer and Hank played second. Apparently, throwing is the biggest issue for him.
Yeah,
so
they
second
probably
base
threw
is
it
an
under
easy
him,
throw. And
Zvi was a shortstop, and right? Or-
Zvi was short center.
They were missing a couple of guys. They were also short-handed. I believe they started out with. Well, it was a big thing, and you didn't make too many friends once again at this game.
No, we don't make friends here in Cleveland. I mean, the league sent a note out saying that if you start a game and you have to leave in the middle, you can't break the slot, and all these rules that you want. I assume you want people to follow the rules.
Right.
Otherwise, you go over to the other captain, and if the guy's a nice guy, he has to let down his own team to
Right.
bend over for the other team. It's
Right.
not fair. So Hank asked us to do something, which
So
is
basically saying we all should be Maurice Haber.
Exactly.
Nobody's gonna ask.
so he asked us to do something that is not legal by the rules,
Right.
which the league sent an email about this particular week, and we told him no. So that upset him.
Right.
Not my problem.
No. Okay, you did the right thing. Yeah, they're playing also without rookie sensation Elliot Saka.
Yes.
Out. So they started out with 10 with Henry.
Right.
And I saw him take a couple of swings. He looked like he was in there.
He was definitely not
incredible
himself.
amount of pain.
Yeah, definitely not himself. But their team is good. They were shorthanded. They managed to get a split. They thought they should have swept. We thought we should have swept. Very tight games.
You lost 7-1 the second game.
It was 2-1 in the last inning though.
Oh really?
Yeah, it was 2-1 all game. We were down 2-1 with a man on third and nobody out.
Really?
We could not get the run home again, just like the Astros the week before. We couldn't get the run home, and then it was 2-1 going into the seventh, and then we lost 7-1.
I saw Zvi hit a home run. When was that?
That was to make it 2-0 theirs in game 2.
That was early.
That was early.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the first inning in game 2.
Oh, so they didn't score really too much until the end.
Until the end, yeah.
Wow. So it was 2-1. And the first guy, he got a big break, I believe. They said Gamal dropped the block. Was that a routine fly ball?
It's the craziest thing. He made a ridiculous play, a web gem, that you can't believe the catch he made. And then the next, not even a strike, not even a ball in between. The next pitch, he misses a routine fly ball that allowed us to score a couple of runs.
Oh, they didn't score because of that after
No, it happened after
Oh,
that. That put the guy on base, and then we got a hit or two, and then we scored from there.
Wow. So.
Lee Zakaria broke out this week. He had a couple of triples. V hit a home run that was way out of the park.
Yeah, he was chugging around the bases.
He was chugging around. By the way, what we should have opened the show with the news that Nemi Katz hit a triple this week, and Labo hit a home run this week.
Really?
So talk about chugging around the bases.
Now we should talk about Labo because Labo was actually not. If everybody doesn't know, was the last player drafted in this year, but he's having a great year so
Yeah,
far.
I mean,
Both he's playing defense and offensively. He's getting a full-time job. It's amazing. Last year, based on his 1 for 23, I believe he was on the year, he's having a very good year.
well, you know what? When you get picked that late, something inside you has to be a little upset at that and say, I'm going to do something this year. So apparently it's working out for Labo, and I'm happy for him.
Now, I did not hear about Nemi's home run.
No, triple. I heard anybody else. I don't want to quote the guy that told me this, but he said anybody else would have been in the dugout having a Slurpee already, and Nemi was jogging into third base.
It must have been some shot, I got to say that.
It was a moon shot to right center, way out.
Well, he's a very strong.
Unfortunately,
strong guy.
there's no fences, so.
Yeah. But so I guess your game was a couple of close games also. So
They were very tight. Every game we play is tied or a one-run game until the end. You know.
So basically, we talked about you've scored really 4 runs in the equivalent of 5 games.
Yeah.
In the last 5 games.
1, 0, 2, 3. Yeah, we scored 4 runs in basically 5 games because we had the extra inning game.
13 inning game. So
not going to win too many games like that.
No. The Mikey cannot.
He can't pitch any better than he's pitching.
Can't really do much better than that.
No.
So I guess you're really gonna have to find some offense or check the waiver wire and see who's
take steroids, something. We got.
Just something because those numbers for softball are staggering.
It's not soccer. It's not hockey. It's softball. The ball is this big. It's a metal bat. It's a piece of metal, the bat. You got to be able to score more than 4 runs in 5 games.
By mistake.
By mistake, yeah. Even by the other team giving you 4 runs,
right.
you know?
So anyway, I think your team's, you don't seem too concerned, but,
We can get concerned if we don't wake up soon.
Yeah.
We have excuses so far for every week. The layoff, the wind, the BS,
Right.
this, the that, the weather, the sunrise, whatever you want, the Omer, whatever you want to say. But now we got to wake up. Let's go, boys. Let's do it.
You were playing a team that had numerous beards on it, so there was a lot of,
Well, we were lucky because Max Sutton is famous for singing throughout the game, but he won't sing on the Omer. Thank God.
Right.
So
it's a good time.
we didn't have to hear him singing.
Good time. So.
Exactly.
So now let's shoot over to the other side of town.
Okay.
And we had a big matchup. The Old Men of Summer versus the Hebrew Nationals.
Right.
Now the Hebrew Nationals had a unbelievable week the week before, unprecedented, lost 2 guys for the season on one day. I don't think that's happened in YMSL history.
Right.
Jacob Cohen, starting left fielder, dove for a ball and I guess either broke his hand or his thumb, out for the year. And Eddie Hakeem, sliding into third, got a torn meniscus and he's out for the year.
Wow.
So they were shorthanded. They were really working.
They didn't have replacements or anything?
Well, they acquired the services of one David Roditi.
Okay.
Who is, from what we understand, actually from your neck of the woods in Montreal originally.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Unfortunately, he's more recent Abe's nephew, so starting something against him. But
this is a Moni connection.
Yeah,
exactly. That's why they got him.
Yes.
Moni used to talk about these Montreal cousins.
Yeah. So a Montreal kid, incredible athlete in football and in basketball, like a ridiculous athlete. And but after they acquired him, they realized he lived in Canada, I guess, because softball wasn't his game. So he's a work in progress.
Okay.
Right now.
So they weren't thrilled when he arrived.
No, they were thrilled.
Zamboni when he pulled up.
His name's Albert.
Albert, what did I call him?
Elias Sports Bureau telling us it's Albert.
Albert Roditi. Albert Roditi. I should know that. But so they were very thrilled when they inquired him. But I guess once the game started, they weren't as thrilled. But anyway, he's having a great time to learn. He was just this is also the first time he's played in a few years. So,
well, if he's an athlete and he's so good in the other sports, you gotta assume he'll get it together.
But they also made another acquisition today.
Okay.
And they traded him. They also acquired Isaac Norwood Dweck for one of the.
Really?
Yes, and he was immediately traded to the Old Men of Summer for Solly S. Towel.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. So the old men got older again.
Yes. So let's break it down a little bit here.
Wow.
The Old Men of Summer, when the season started, had 3 guys that are about 22 and under. They had Sam Michon,
Right?
Solly S. Towel, and Marcus Adjemi.
Right.
And you know how many they have of those?
None. They have none of those.
Yeah, and they traded those for the 3 guys, average age of 40.
They got Norwood.
Yeah.
They got,
Stephen Safdie.
right.
And
He's in his 30s, Stephen Safdie,
yeah,
for sure.
36, 37. David Harari, he's probably the youngest. So they have 2 guys, I think, under 30.
Wow.
So I guess they're trying to get veteran leadership and
And a lot of it.
yeah. And they called up the league to expand the pinch runner rule, but we're not going to go for that one. But the big story with that team is, it's just some. First of all, offensively, this team is just worse than the Indians. 6 runs in 4 games.
Is that
Yeah.
real? No,
Yeah,
6
runs
in
in 4 games.
Wow. That is bad. That is very bad.
Now they got swept by. Let's face it, the Hebrew Nationals are not 27 Yankees.
Right.
All right. I mean, you got A.B. Saka and a makeshift. You got a couple of guys, A.B. Cohen, but nobody's going to really put a big scare into your,
Right.
when you look at the team. And playing with a new kid in left. Lost Eddie Hakim's bat, which is
Right.
a major.
Playing with the new kid who wasn't as good as they thought he was
Yeah.
going to be.
Yeah. And, basically the first game was 4-2. I guess you said Nemi got a triple. And
I heard that the old men had a lot of base running mistakes. A lot. They ran into a bunch of outs,
Yeah.
including the last out of the game at 4-3. Jack had it rounding third, trying to score to tie the game, and stopped in the middle, back, forth, whatever, and got tagged out.
well, he's been doing that for 30 years.
Yeah.
And, a lot of times he ends up scoring,
Mhm.
but sometimes
It hurts when it ends
backfires.
a game when you're down 4-3.
Yeah.
And you're in between third and home.
But honestly, I don't blame him because when you're struggling that much offensively, you
I guess you
gotta
gotta push the
you gotta
envelope.
try to create it. I don't know who's on deck, who the batter was now, and maybe he's trying to create a run. Maybe the next guy didn't get the ball out of infield yet. If there's
Right.
who knows? I mean, sometimes it works, and really the truth is, a lot of times, a lot of things have to happen. The guy who has the ball panics, the catcher panics.
You never know what could happen. I mean, I wasn't there. I don't know if the ball was really right
Yeah.
there when he went or if he was taking a calculated risk. I don't know.
Listen, sometimes if they do something wrong fundamentally, it ends up, they could have changed. If he ended up scoring, could have changed the team season for the.
100%. Anything can change a team's season. That's
Right.
true. That's true. But when you're losing and the things don't work out,
Right.
those things compound, and then you start
Right.
pointing fingers.
Right,
you know?
right.
And that's like, what is he? He's in the league 100 years. Why is he running when
Right.
he was clearly going to be? It could go either way,
Right.
I guess. But I understand your point. It's a
Right.
good point.
Now that was the first game. Now the next game, A.B. Saka just mowed him down, and the big story of the second game was it was a 2-0 game. Was Ike Mavora walking in the 2 runs.
Walking them on and walking them
walking
in,
them in.
which is amazing.
And he was pulled after into the second inning, and Salim Levy came in.
Was he pulled or he pulled himself, or agreement on being pulled?
Well, basically he was pulled, and
Wow.
Nathan came up and asked him for the ball, gave it to him.
Oh my God.
So Salim, and the big story with Mavora, guys, definitely the Hall of Famer down the road, is a staggering.
He's got to make the playoffs before you put him in the Hall of Fame.
Well, I didn't say in the YMSL, it's
Okay.
the BKS.
Okay.
First ballot in the BKS. 25 walks in I guess technically it's like 3 games and 2 innings.
The truth is, it's terrible. Those numbers are terrible. But I have a hard time putting this all on Mavora. I know it's very easy to, and that game for sure is all on him. He walked 5-6 guys in a row. No one should ever do that, especially a real pitcher. But this team is it's a rough team from top to bottom. Nathan fumbled the draft pick epically. I don't know what he was thinking. You don't trade Allie ever. And you don't. If you're going to trade him, you get something good. His second round pick, he took Sam Michon.
Yeah.
He traded him away. So I mean, it's you can't put it all on him. They're not fielding as good as they should be. They're not running as good as they should be. And then you have Mavora walking way too many people. It's the whole combination.
And they're not hitting, obviously. So
and obviously, clearly, they're also not hitting.
And now, I guess the way the team is set up, they'll be going to 4 outfielders the whole game. So
they're going to 4 outfielders, but
I don't know. I don't really love that move. For certain hitters, yes.
Wait, did they trade the 4th outfielder?
Well, no. Now they're gonna. Well, Solly S was one of the 4.
Right, he was
now
the right fielder.
Yeah, now they're putting David Harari there as the 4th outfielder.
Okay, so I guess Nemi keeps his job at first base because this week David Harari played first, I believe, and I heard he made a couple of good plays at first this past week. They had Nathan, Steven Safdie, Jackie Haddad, and Solly S as the 4.
Right.
And they had Harari at first base, Elliot Rishdie at short. I'm not sure where Nemi was.
By the way, you know who played amazing defense this week? Staggering defense, 2nd and 3rd.
Yeah.
One A.B. Salem.
I heard about it. And
they said he was the player of the week on, on that team.
Yes.
And 3rd and 2nd, because when Celine pitched, they moved him to 3rd. So he played unbelievable. He's the type of guy who just needed a chance somewhere. He was.
Yeah, and he was stuck in the Marty Jamal regime,
and
he was not given a chance. And now,
you know what's amazing? You know what's amazing? All those years he was on Marty's team. Why did they give him a chance? Like, I mean, it was just. Was it just to sing Hatikva? They got him? I don't get it. I mean, he was. He was catching a game.
He was catch. I thought he liked to catch, and that was his position. I don't know.
That's all he was getting.
Because I only saw him on Marty's team always as a catcher.
That's all he was getting, and it was.
Can you imagine he becomes like a consistent Gold Glove somewhere? Like
he's always feeling good whenever he got a chance. I guess people were never sold on it whenever they thought it was a fluke, or whatever the case may be.
Right.
But definitely, he was. Nathan told me he was the best player on the field on their team anyway. He made every single play and hard plays also.
right.
So I guess they're gonna have to find a spot for him in the lineup now. And but now that they acquired Norwood Dweck, I guess he's playing second base now.
Norwood could be a spark plug. He's a feisty guy.
He's a feisty guy.
You know.
He can he'll do the right things. He'll move the runner over. He's a hard out also. Hits the ball all over the place. He'll do what he has to do.
The truth is, they're only scoring 6 runs in 4 games. Even if Mavora was on the top of his game, maybe they'd have 1 win. I don't know.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, first of all, they got to break out of this city. Steven Safdie's got to hit. Mavora's got to hit. I mean, it's just, Elliot Rishdie, from what I hear, hasn't played great yet. So, listen, they got a long way to go, I feel. And, the fact that they got older now, so there's, the way this league is built, I believe is youth and speed, and they have neither one of that. So it's going to be difficult. So they got their work cut out, and they play. I feel the Cardinals this week, and the chances this week are going to be extremely difficult.
I think so too. I don't think that's a good matchup for them.
No, not when they're coming off a doubleheader loss. And then, right after our commercial break, we're going to talk about another red-hot team.
Houston.
Got it.